celestial station floated in the darkness of space like a giant metal flower. It was one of the largest trading stations in the galaxy. Hundreds of alien species came here every day to trade, talk, and do business. The station had bright lights, busy markets, and the constant noise of different languages mixing together. Calla Morrison walked through the lower maintenance tunnels. Her coveralls were covered in grease stains. Oil marked her hands and face. She had just finished a 12-hour shift fixing the station's cooling systems. All she wanted now was food and sleep. Kayla was human. She stood about 5 feet 7 inches tall, with brown hair tied back in a simple ponytail. She had strong arms from working with heavy tools, but she looked small compared to most aliens on the station. Humans were still new to galactic society. Most aliens thought they were weak and soft. She took the elevator up to the Commerce District. The smell of different alien foods filled the air. Kayla walked to her favorite food stall. The owner was a friendly Quellan who made something close to Earth's noodles. She ordered her usual meal and waited. Behind her, loud voices laughed and shouted. Kayla did not turn around. She had learned to ignore drunk aliens. The station had many bars, and fights sometimes happened. Security usually handled problems quickly. Look at the soft skin, a deep voice said in Galactic Common. More laughter followed. Kayla felt someone step very close behind her. She could smell alcohol and something like rotting fruit. She kept looking forward at the food stall. I am talking to you, human, the voice said again. Something hard poked her shoulder. Kayla turned slowly. She looked up at a Krallian warrior. He stood over 7 feet tall. His body was covered in thick gray plates that looked like armor. His face had 4 eyes and a mouth full of sharp teeth. The Krallians were famous across the galaxy as the best fighters. They were strong, fast, and their skin was like natural armor. This Krallian wore traditional warrior bands on his arms. His name markings, said Vexter. 3 other Krallians stood behind him, watching and laughing. All of them looked drunk. Excuse me, Kayla said quietly. I am just waiting for food, humans Vexter said to his friends. They come to space, but they are so weak. No armor, no strength. How do they survive? He looked down at Kayla. Tell me, Softskin. What use are humans in the galaxy? A crowd began to form. Other aliens stopped to watch. Some looked worried. Others seemed curious about what would happen. No one stepped forward to help. I do not want trouble, Kayla said. She tried to step around Vexter. He moved to block her path. His massive hand pushed her shoulder. Not hard enough to hurt, but enough to make her stumble back a step. His friends laughed louder. Did I say you could leave? Vexter leaned down close to her face. His breath smelled terrible. Maybe I should teach you respect. Maybe all humans need to learn their place. Kayla took a deep breath. She looked at Vexter's 4 eyes. Please move, she said. Her voice was very calm. To calm, make me soft-skin, Vexter said. He pushed her shoulder again, harder this time. The crowd expected Kayla to run or call for security. Humans always avoided fights with stronger species. That was the smart thing to do. That was what weak species did. Kayla did not run. Her hand moved so fast that most aliens in the crowd missed it. She grabbed Vexter's wrist when he pushed her. She twisted it in a way that made the Krallian's arm lock straight. Then she stepped forward and swept his leg with her foot. Vexter was big and strong, but Kayla used his own weight against him. The Krallian warrior crashed to the floor on his back. The impact made a loud sound that echoed through the Commerce District. Before Vexter could react, Kayla dropped down. She put her knee on his elbow joint and pulled his wrist back. A horrible cracking sound filled the air. Vexter screamed. His wrist joint had broken. His 3 friends rushed forward to help. Kayla moved like water. She rolled away from Vexter and came up in a fighting stance. When the first friend reached for her, she ducked under his arms. She kicked the side of his knee. The joint bent wrong. He fell. The second friend was smarter. He tried to grab Kayla from behind. She dropped low and threw him over her shoulder. He landed on top of Vexter. The 2 Krallians crashed together with another loud sound. The third friend stopped. He looked at his injured companions. He looked at the small human girl standing ready to fight. He slowly stepped back with his hands up. Kala turned back to Vexther. The warrior was trying to stand. His faceplates were cracked where he had hit the floor. Dark blue blood dripped from his nose and mouth. "You should not have pushed me," Kayla said quietly. Vexther tried to swing at her with his good hand. Kayla stepped inside the punch. She hit his face with her palm. The strike was not big, but it was very precise. It hit exactly where his faceplates were already cracked. The plates shattered. Vexther's eyes rolled back. He fell unconscious to the floor. The entire fight had lasted 15 seconds. The crowd stood in complete silence. No one could believe what they had just seen. A human had just defeated 4 Krallian warriors. It was impossible. It should not be possible. Station security arrived running. They saw the 4 Krallians on the ground. They saw Kayla standing calmly with her hands at her sides. They saw the shocked crowd. "I need medical for these 4, Kayla said to the security officers. "They will need surgery. Be careful with the one on the ground. His wrist is broken and his face needs immediate help." A security officer stared at her. "Did you do this?" "It was self-defense," Kayla said. "Your cameras saw everything." The security officer looked up at the security cameras mounted above the Commerce District. The cameras had recorded the whole fight. He spoke into his communication device. "We need medical teams to Commerce District 7. We also need Commander Thalaris. There has been an incident." Medical teams arrived quickly. They carefully lifted Vexther onto a floating stretcher. His face was badly damaged. The doctor said he would need many hours of surgery to repair the broken bone plates. Commander Tharaz arrived last. He was a Zenthi, tall and thin, with gray skin and wise eyes. He watched the medical team's work. Then he looked at Kayla. "You were detained for questioning," he said. His voice was not angry, just confused. "Not arrested. But we need to understand what happened here." "I understand," Kayla said. As security led her away, the crowd began talking all at once. The story spread through the station like fire. Within an hour, the security camera footage was being shared on communication networks across the galaxy. Everywhere the footage played, the reaction was the same: shock, disbelief, fear. A human had destroyed a Krallian warrior in seconds. If humans could do this, what else could they do? What kind of species were they really? The questions were just beginning. Part 2. Deathworld Origin Skilla sat in a simple metal chair in the security office. The room had white walls and bright lights. A table sat between her and Commander Thalaris. Dr. Mirax, Quellan scientist with blue skin and 6 arms, sat beside him. A screen on the wall showed the security footage on repeat. Thalaris watched the video again. He shook his head slowly. "I have watched this 20 times. I still do not understand the physics of what you did." "I just defended myself," Kayla said. Her lip was swollen from where Vexer had clipped her with his elbow during the fight. Otherwise, she looked fine. Dr. Mirax leaned forward. All 6 of her arms gestured as she spoke. "You broke a Krallian warrior's wrist with your bare hands. You threw another one over your shoulder, even though he weighs 3 times what you weigh. You moved faster than our cameras could properly track." How Kayla thought about the question. Basic self-defense training. "I started learning when I was 12 years old back on Earth." Dr. Mirax's voice went high. "This is basic for humans." "Pretty basic, yes," Kayla said. "My father taught me some techniques. Then I took classes at a local gym for a few years. Nothing special. Millions of people on Earth have similar training." The room went very quiet. Thalaris and Dr. Mirax looked at each other with worried expressions. "Dr. Mirax," Thalaris said slowly, "pull up the planetary data for Earth." Dr. Mirax used one of her arms to work a computer pad. Information appeared on the screen. She read through it quickly. Her skin color changed from blue to pale white. In her species, that meant extreme shock. "By the ancestors," she whispered. "Earth is a Class 12 death world." "Explained for the record," Thalaris said. Dr. Mirax stood up. She began pointing at different information on the screen. Deathworlds are planets where the conditions are so dangerous that most spacefaring species would die without protection. We classify them on a scale of 1 to 15. Earth scores 12. She pulled up comparison data. Look at the gravity. Earth has 1.0 standard gravity. Most of our species evolved in 0.6 to 0.8 gravity. The Krallians evolved in 0.7 gravity. Humans grew up in conditions 50% stronger than Krallians face. More data appeared. The atmosphere has 21% oxygen. That is very high. It makes humans able to process energy faster. They can move longer without getting tired. Their healing is faster. What about the environment? Dolores asked. Terrible, Dr. Mirak said. She pulled up images of Earth. The planet has extreme weather. Storms that can destroy buildings. Temperature changes from very hot to very cold. The oceans have waves that can sink ships. And the wildlife. Images of Earth animals appeared. Lions, bears, sharks, crocodiles, snakes. Even simple images made both aliens lean back in their chairs. Earth is filled with predators. Dr. Mirax continued. Big predators. Fast predators. Poisonous creatures. Humans did not evolve as the strongest species on their planet. They evolved by being smart and tough enough to survive everything trying to kill them. Kayla watched them react to her home planet. It was strange. To her, Earth was just normal. She had never thought of it as particularly dangerous. So humans are naturally stronger than most species? Thalaris asked. Much stronger, Dr. Mirak said. She pulled up biological data. Human bones are very dense. Their muscles are extremely efficient. A human of average fitness is stronger than most galactic species at peak fitness. Their reaction time is faster. Their pain tolerance is much higher because they evolved to keep fighting even when injured. She looked at Kayla with something like fear in her eyes. You said your training was basic. Could you explain what this basic training included? Kayla shrugged. Sure. My dad taught me how to break grips and escape holds. Then at the gym, I learned Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for a few years. Some boxing. A little bit of Muay Thai. The instructor mixed different martial arts together. Martial arts? Dr. Mirax asked. Fighting systems, Kayla explained. Humans have developed hundreds of different fighting styles over thousands of years. Different cultures created different methods. Some focus on strikes. Some focus on throws and locks. Some use weapons. People study them for sport, exercise, or self-defense. Hundreds of fighting systems. The Laras repeated. Developed over thousands of years? Yes, Kayla said. Humans have always fought each other. Wars, competitions, we got very good at it. Even now in peacetime, millions of people train in combat sports. We have competitions where people fight each other for sport using different rule sets. Dr. Mirak sat down heavily. Most species developed basic defense and stopped. Once you are the dominant species on your planet, why improve? But humans never stopped. They kept refining combat techniques, even after they did not need them for survival. It is cultural, Kayla said. Many human cultures value martial arts as art forms and as ways to develop discipline and character. My sensei always said that the best fighter is the one who never needs to fight. Yet you just destroyed 4 Krallian warriors, Thalaris said. They did not give me another choice, Kayla said quietly. I asked them to stop. Twice. When someone attacks you, you have to defend yourself. That is what my training taught me. Thalaris pulled up another screen. The footage has spread across the galactic network. Billions have watched it. The reactions are ... concerning. The screen showed messages and news reports from different planets. Some aliens were amazed. Some were scared. Some were angry. The Krallian Honor Fleet had issued a statement demanding an explanation. The Krallians built their entire culture on being the best warriors in the galaxy, Dr. Mirak said. Now a human engineer has beaten 4 of them in seconds. This will cause a crisis for them. I did not want any of this, Kayla said. She looked tired. I just wanted food after my shift. I know, Thalara said kindly. You did nothing wrong. Self-defense is completely legal, but you have created a situation that goes far beyond station law. You have challenged the galaxy's understanding of humans. He stood up. You are free to go, but I advise you to stay in your quarters for now. Many species are confused and worried. Some may see humans as a threat now. Kayla stood and walked to the door. She stopped and turned back. Commander, for what it is worth, I am sorry Vexthor was hurt so badly. I did not want to injure him that seriously. But Krallian anatomy is different from human anatomy. I had to hit harder than I would against another human to make him stop. After she left, Dr. Mirax and Thelaris sat in silence. What do we do? Dr. Mirax finally asked. I do not know, Thelaris said. But the galaxy just learned that humans are Deathworlders. Real Deathworlders. This changes everything. On the screen, the view count for the fight video kept climbing. 5 million views. 10 million. 20 million. The number grew every second. In her quarters, Kayla lay on her bed. Her body hurt in several places from the brief fight. She would have bruises tomorrow. But she had been in worse shape after tournament competitions back home. Her communication pad buzzed. Messages from other humans on the station flooded in. They were proud of her. They were worried for her. They wanted to know if she was okay. One message was from Earth. From her old jiu-jitsu instructor. Saw the video. You kept your head. You controlled the distance. You used technique over strength. Well done. But remember, the best fight is the one you avoid. Stay safe out there, Kayla smiled. Then she closed her eyes and tried to sleep. Tomorrow would bring more complications. Tonight, she just wanted rest. Across the station, in a secure communication room, a message was being sent to the Krallian Honor Fleet. The warriors were coming, and they wanted answers. Part 3. The challenge escalates 3 days after the fight. The Krallian Honor Fleet arrived at Celestial Station. 3 massive warships appeared in orbit. Each ship was black and red, decorated with battle honors from 1,000 wars. The sight made every civilian ship in the area nervous. The Krallians did not come this far with this many ships, unless something serious had happened. Commander Thelaris stood in the station, control room watching the ships dock. Dr. Mirax stood beside him. Both looked worried. They brought the Honor Fleet, Dr. Mirax said. That means this is about more than one injured warrior. I know, Thelaris said. I have arranged a meeting in the diplomatic chamber. Ambassador Krellenok is coming aboard personally. The war hero. Dr. Mirax's skin went pale. He commanded the fleet that conquered the Mordian sector. He has not left his homeworld in 20 years. Apparently what happened here was important enough to bring him out, Thelaris said. In her quarters, Kayla received a message from Commander Thelaris. She was requested to attend a formal diplomatic meeting in 1 hour. Requested, but not really optional. She put on her cleanest uniform and tried to calm her nervous heart. The diplomatic chamber was a large, round room with tall ceilings. Different species had different chairs arranged in a circle. At the center was a neutral area where people could stand and talk. Kayla entered and saw Commander Thelaris and Dr. Mirax waiting for her. How is Vexthor? Kayla asked. He survived surgery, Thelaris said. His face will heal, but he will have scars. His wrists required mechanical replacement. He is very lucky you showed restraint. The doors on the opposite side opened. Ambassador Krellenok entered the room. He was enormous even for a Krallian. Nearly 8 feet tall and wide as a cargo door. His body plates were darker than normal, almost black. Hundreds of scars marked his armor from a lifetime of battles. His 4 eyes were sharp and intelligent. 2 other Krallian officers followed behind him. Kayla felt her body tense automatically. Every instinct told her this being was dangerous. She forced herself to breathe slowly and stay calm. Krellenok walked to the center of the room. He looked down at Kayla for a long moment. Then, surprisingly, he bowed his head slightly. It was a Krallian sign of respect between warriors. Kayla Morrison, his voice was deep like thunder. I am Ambassador Krellenok. I have come to speak with you about what happened with Vexthor. I am sorry he was hurt, Kayla said. I did not want to injure him that badly, but he would not stop attacking me. I watched the footage many times, Krelinok said. You gave him 2 chances to stop. You tried to avoid the fight. When he forced it, you defended yourself. There is no shame in your actions. Kayla was surprised. I thought you would be angry. Angry? Krelinok made a sound like grinding stone. Kayla realized he was laughing. Why would I be angry that a warrior defended themselves? No, I am not angry. I am confused and very curious. He gestured to the large screen on the wall. The fight footage played again. Krelinok pointed at specific moments. Here, you redirect his weight. You do not try to match his strength. You use leverage and technique here. You strike the weak points in Krallian anatomy with precision. You have studied our species? No, Kayla said. I mean, I know basic Krallian anatomy from working on the station, but I've never studied how to fight Krallian specifically. I just use the principles I learned in training. Principles? Krelinok asked. Every opponent has weak points, Kayla explained. Joints bend in specific directions. Balance works the same for everyone. You find the weak points and you use technique instead of strength. That is what my instructors taught me. Krelinok was quiet for a moment. On my world, warriors train for many years. We learn the ancient Krallian fighting forms passed down for generations. We are taught that our strength and armor make us superior. That is what we have believed for thousands of years. He looked at his own hands. Then I watched this footage. I watch a being 1/3 my size defeat for trained Krallian warriors in seconds. I must ask myself, what did we miss? What do we not understand? Dr. Mirak stepped forward. Ambassador, if I may. I have been researching human combat development. What I found is remarkable. She activated her computer pad. Images appeared on the screen showing different human fighting styles. Humans have developed over 300 distinct martial arts systems across their history. They have refined these techniques through actual combat over thousands of years. Even after reaching the top of their planet's food chain, they continued to develop new fighting methods. More images showed boxing rings, martial arts tournaments, and military training. Humans compete against each other constantly. They test their techniques in controlled combat sports. They evolve their methods based on what works and what does not. It is continuous improvement over generations. Krelinok studied the images carefully. We stopped improving our fighting techniques 3,000 years ago. We believed we were already the best. Why change what works? Because there is always room to improve, Kayla said. That is what my sensei taught. No matter how good you are, there is always something new to learn. Always a better way to do things, sensei, Krelinok asked. Teacher, master, the person who guides your training, Kayla explained. Krelinok turned to his officers. They spoke in the Krallian language for several minutes. Then he turned back to face everyone in the room. I have a proposal, Krelinok said. My people have been the galaxy's finest warriors for millennia. We take pride in combat skill and honor. What happened here has shaken our understanding. We need to learn from this. He looked directly at Kayla. I propose an exchange program. Krallian warriors will travel to Earth. We will learn from human martial artists and military instructors. In exchange, humans will gain access to Krallian military technology and our support in the Galactic Assembly. We will become partners. Commander Theleros looked shocked. Ambassador, this is highly unusual. Such an alliance would change the political balance of the entire galaxy. Yes, Krelinok said simply. It would. Before anyone could respond, another door opened. A thin alien with golden skin entered. He wore expensive diplomatic robes. Kayla did not recognize his species. How convenient, the newcomer said. His voice was smooth and cold. A secret meeting without proper assembly oversight? Ambassador Tilrix Theleris said with obvious dislike. This is a station matter. The assembly has no jurisdiction here. Oh, but it does, Tilrix said. He walked to the center of the room. When a dangerous species demonstrates violent capabilities, the assembly must ensure galactic security. That is our responsibility. He looked at Kayla with obvious disgust. Humans, Deathworlders, violent by nature. We have kept your species contained for good reason. Now, you attack one of the galaxy's most respected warrior species and claim it as self-defense. It was self-defense, Kayla said. Her voice was calm, but she felt anger rising. The cameras showed everything. The cameras show a human brutally attacking Krallian citizens, Tilric said. They show the violent nature of your species. This is exactly why the Hegemony Coalition has maintained restrictions on human expansion. The Hegemony is afraid, Krelinek said. His voice was hard. You fear change. You fear competition. You have controlled the galaxy through politics and fear for too long. We maintain order, Tilric said. We protect weaker species from aggressive ones. Speaking of which, I have a proposal of my own. He pulled out a document pad. If humans are truly as capable as claimed, there should be a formal demonstration. A sanctioned combat exhibition? The warrior Kayla Morrison will face 3 Krallian fighters simultaneously under controlled conditions. If she wins, we will accept that human combat capabilities are genuine, and the proposed alliance can proceed. If she loses, humanity accepts its proper place in the galactic order as a developing species requiring hegemony guidance. That is not fair, Dr. Mirak said. Kayla is not a professional soldier. She is an engineer. Exactly my point, Tilric said with a cold smile. If an average human can do what she did, she should have no problem with this test. Unless, of course, the first incident was simply luck. Krelinek looked at Kayla. The choice is yours, Kayla Morrison. You do not have to accept. No one would think less of you for refusing. Kayla looked around the room. She saw Thelorus looking worried. Dr. Mirax looked scared for her. Krelinek looked respectful but neutral. Tilrix looked smug and confident. She thought about her home, about humanity struggling to find its place among the stars, about the opportunity for a real alliance with another powerful species, about what refusing would mean for her people's future. Except, Kayla said. When and where? Tilrix's smile grew. 48 hours? The station's amphitheater. The whole galaxy will watch. After everyone left, Kayla stood alone in the diplomatic chamber. Her hands were shaking slightly. What had she just agreed to? Her communication pad buzzed. A message from Earth was coming through. She was not alone in this. But she would have to be the one to fight. Part 4. Trial by Combatha. Message from Earth arrived 6 hours after Kayla accepted the challenge. It was from the Terran Defense Coalition headquarters in Geneva. Kayla Morrison. We understand your situation. You are not alone. We are sending combat analysis, training protocols, and strategic data. More importantly, know that billions of humans are watching and supporting you. You represent all of us. No pressure, but also all the pressure. You can do this. Signed, General Park, TDC. Kayla laughed despite her nervousness. The message included detailed files on Krallian anatomy, movement patterns, and reaction times. It also included contact information for military, combat instructors who were standing by. To provide advice, she had 48 hours to prepare for the most important fight of her life. She could not waste time. The station's main gym became her training center. Word spread quickly among the human crew members. Within hours, Kayla had volunteers. Marcus Chen arrived first. He was a security officer who had studied Brazilian jiu-jitsu for 15 years back on Earth. I heard you need help. I am here. Then came Sarah O'Brien, a cargo hauler who had boxed professionally before joining the merchant fleet. I can teach you to hit harder and protect your head better. Dr. Patel from the medical bay came too. She had practiced Muay Thai and could teach clinch fighting techniques. When fighting bigger opponents, you need to know how to fight in close. More humans arrived throughout the day. A Marine who had served in the Terran Defense Force, a dock worker who wrestled, a cook who knew Krav Maga. Each brought their knowledge and experience. They set up training stations around the gym. Marcus worked with Kayla on ground fighting and submissions. Sarah taught her better boxing combinations and defensive head movement. Dr. Patel showed her elbow and knee strikes for close range. You cannot overpower 3 Krallians. Marcus said during a training break. You need to make them fight each other. Control the distance. Isolate them one at a time. Use angles, Sarah added. Keep moving so they cannot surround you. Make them chase you. Tired fighters make mistakes. Dr. Mirax provided detailed anatomical data on the 3 Krallians who would fight Kayla. She identified their weak points. Old injuries and fighting tendencies based on public records of previous combat exhibitions. This one favors his right side. Dr. Mirax pointed at the first fighter's profile. Old injury to his left shoulder. This one is very aggressive and charges forward. The third is more tactical, but slower to react. Kayla studied everything. She trained for 16 hours straight, taking only short breaks. Her body hurt. Her muscles screamed. But she pushed through. This was bigger than her now. On the second day, Commander Thalaris visited the gym. He watched Kayla spar with Marcus for a few minutes. When they took a break, he approached. You can still withdraw, Thalaris said quietly. No one would blame you. This is not fair. You are an engineer, not a professional fighter. I know, Kayla said, breathing hard. But if I quit now, what does that say about humans? We just entered galactic society. We need allies. We need to show that we can be trusted and that we are capable. Sometimes one person has to stand up for everyone else. Elarez nodded slowly. You are very brave, or very foolish. Perhaps both. Definitely both, Kayla said with a tired smile. The 48 hours passed too quickly. The morning of the fight arrived. The station's amphitheater had been converted into a combat arena. A large circular platform sat in the center. Thousands of seats surrounded it. Every seat was filled. Aliens from dozens of species had come to watch. Above the arena, massive screens would broadcast the fight across the entire galaxy, in a preparation room beneath the arena. Kayla wrapped her hands carefully. She wore simple athletic clothes and light padding. The rules allowed minimal protective gear only. Her hands were the only weapons she would have. Marcus helped her with the hand wraps. Remember everything we practiced. Stay calm. Control your breathing. Trust your training. You're going to do great, Sarah said. She put a hand on Kella's shoulder. You are stronger than you know. Act. Dr. Patel checked Kella's pulse and blood pressure. Elevated but normal for pre-combat. You are healthy and ready. Kayla closed her eyes and thought about her training. Years of practice. Thousands of hours on the mat. Every lesson her teachers had given her. Every mistake she had learned from, all of it had led to this moment. It is time, a voice announced over the speakers. Kayla walked up the stairs to the arena. The crowd noise hit her like a wave. Thousands of aliens cheering, talking, and watching. Cameras floated around the arena, recording everything. Above her, the screens showed her face to billions of viewers across the galaxy. On the opposite side, 3 Krallian warriors entered. They were massive, all over 7 feet tall and heavily muscled. They wore traditional combat wraps on their hands and carried 3-foot Krallian combat staffs. The staffs were made of metal and could break bones easily. Ambassador Krellinox stood at the edge of the arena. He raised his hand for silence. The crowd quieted. This is an honor combat, Krellenic announced. 3 Krallian warriors against 1 human. The fight ends when one side surrenders or cannot continue. Medical teams are standing by. Let the combat begin. The 3 Krallians spread out, trying to surround Kayla. She moved to keep them in her line of sight. Her heart pounded, but her mind was clear. The first warrior charged with his staff raised high. Kayla waited until the last second, then rolled to the side. The staff hit the arena floor where she had been standing. The impact made a loud crash. As the first warrior recovered, the second attacked from her right. Kayla ducked under his swing and kicked his knee from the side. The joint hyperextended. The warrior stumbled, but did not fall. The third warrior was smarter. He came in low and fast, trying to tackle Kayla. She could not avoid him completely. His shoulder hit her ribs. Pain shot through her side, but she wrapped her arms around his neck in a guillotine. Choke as they fell together. They hit the ground hard. Kayla locked her legs around the warrior's body and squeezed the choke tighter. The Krallians struggled, trying to lift her and slam her down. Kayla held on. After 10 seconds, the warrior's struggles weakened. After 15 seconds, he went limp. Kayla released him immediately. One down. She stood up quickly. Her ribs hurt badly. At least one was cracked, but she had no time to think about pain. The first two warriors attacked together now. They had learned caution. Kayla backpedaled, keeping distance. When they got close, she exploded forward between them. She grabbed the injured warrior's staff and used her whole body weight to twist it from his grip. Now she had a weapon. The staff felt good in her hands. Sarah had taught her basic stick fighting during training. Not much, but enough. She spun the staff and struck the injured warrior's already damaged knee. He collapsed with a cry of pain. The last warrior was the biggest and most experienced. He came at Kayla carefully, testing her defense with quick strikes. His staff work was excellent. Kayla blocked and dodged, looking for an opening. She saw it. He favored high strikes. Kayla dropped low suddenly and swept his legs. The big Krallian crashed down. Before he could recover, Kayla dropped the staff and jumped on his back. She wrapped one arm around his thick neck and used her other arm to create a rear naked. Choke the warrior tried to stand with her on his back. He was strong enough to lift her completely off the ground. Kayla held the choke and wrapped her legs around his waist to prevent him from throwing her off. They struggled for what felt like forever, but was probably only 30 seconds. The warrior's movements became weaker. He dropped to one knee. Then he tapped Kayla's arm 3 times, the universal sign of submission. Kayla released the choke immediately and rolled away. She stood up, breathing hard. Her ribs screamed with pain. Her arms felt like rubber, but she was standing. All 3 Krallians were down. The arena was completely silent for 3 seconds. Then the noise exploded. Humans in the crowd cheered. Many aliens looked shocked. Some Krallians were silent, but looked thoughtful rather than angry. Medical teams rushed onto the arena floor. They helped the 3 Krallian warriors. All 3 would recover. Kayla had been careful not to cause permanent damage. Ambassador Kralenik entered the arena. He walked to Kayla and lifted her arm in victory. The human has won. The combat is complete. He spoke quietly so only Kayla could hear. You fought with skill and honor. You defeated 3 warriors, but you did not humiliate them. You ended the fight without unnecessary injury. That shows wisdom and restraint. My people will remember this. Kayla could barely stand now that the adrenaline was fading. Pain from her cracked ribs made breathing difficult. Dr. Patel and Marcus ran onto the arena to help her, as they led her away. Kayla looked up at the screens. They showed Ambassador Tilrix in his viewing box. His expression was dark and angry. He had expected her to lose. He had been wrong. The alliance between humans and Krallians was now official. But Kayla knew this was not the end. It was only the beginning. Part 5. New alliances. New threats. 3 weeks passed since the arena fight. Kayla sat in the medical bay while Dr. Patel removed the support wrap from her ribs. The bones had healed quickly thanks to advanced alien medical technology. On Earth, the injury would have taken 6 weeks to heal. Here it took 3. You are lucky your bones are so dense, Dr. Patel said as she worked. Most species would have had 4 broken ribs from that tackle. You only had 2 cracks. Now Deathworld or advantage, Kayla said with a slight smile. The term no longer bothered her. She had accepted what it meant. You are clear to return to full duty, Dr. Patel said, though I recommend you avoid fighting 3 Krallian warriors for at least another month. Kayla laughed. I will try to remember that. She left the medical bay and walked through the station corridors. Things had changed noticeably over the past 3 weeks. Aliens who used to ignore humans now watched them with cautious respect. Some species actively avoided human crew members. Others approached with curiosity and questions about Earth. A group of young Quellan students saw her and waved excitedly. They had watched the fight and now considered Kayla a hero. She waved back awkwardly. She still was not comfortable with fame. Commander Thalaris had requested a meeting. Kayla took the lift to his office in the administrative section. She found him looking out the window at the docked ships. One of the Krallian warships was still there. Kayla Tharos greeted her. "Thank you for coming. Please sit." She sat in the chair across from his desk. He pulled up several documents on his screen. "The formal alliance treaty between humanity and the Krallian people was signed yesterday," he said. "The first exchange program begins next month. 50 Krallian warriors will travel to Earth to train with your martial arts masters and military instructors. In return, 100 human engineers and strategists will work with Krallian fleets." "That is good news," Kayla said. "Yes, but there are complications." Thalaris pulled up more documents. "The Hegemony Coalition has responded with economic sanctions against both humans and Krallians. They are pressuring member species to cut ties with us. Some species are listening. Others are not." He showed her reports from different planets. Some were clearly negative about humans. They called humans violent and dangerous. They said Deathworlders should not be trusted. Other reports were more positive. They said humans showed courage and honor. They admired how Kayla had fought with skill but without cruelty. "The galaxy is divided," Thalaris said. "The hegemony has controlled galactic politics for over 2,000 years. They fear losing their influence. Your victory in the arena proved that humans cannot be easily controlled or dismissed. That makes them very nervous." "What does this mean for humans on the station?" Kayla asked. "Increased security measures. Some species have made threats. Nothing serious yet, but we are being cautious." He looked at her carefully. "There is another matter. Ambassador Kralenik has requested to meet with you before his ship departs. He also brought a proposal for you personally." Kayla felt nervous again. "What kind of proposal?" "He wants you to serve as the human cultural liaison for the exchange program. You would help Krallian warriors understand human culture and training methods. You would also help humans understand Krallian honor traditions. It would be a full-time position." Kayla was quiet for a moment. "Commander, I am an engineer. I fix cooling systems and maintain life support. I am not a diplomat or a teacher. Yet you have done more for human-alien relations in 3 weeks than our diplomats have done in 3 years," Dolores said. "You have shown the galaxy who humans truly are, not through words, but through actions." "That matters. I need time to think about it," Kayla said. "Of course. Ambassador Kralenik will be here for another day. You can give him your answer then." Kayla left the office and wandered to the station's observation deck. It was a large area with transparent walls showing the stars and planets outside. A few other people were there, but they kept respectful distance. She looked out at the darkness of space. Somewhere out there was Earth, her home. She had left it to find work and adventure among the stars. She had never expected to become important to galactic politics. "Beautiful, is it not?" a voice said behind her. Kayla turned. Dr. Mirax approached with her gentle movements. The Quellan scientist smiled kindly. "May I join you?" Dr. Mirax asked. "Of course." They stood together, looking at the stars. After a moment, Dr. Mirax spoke again. "I wanted to apologize to you." "Apologize? For what?" "When I first studied the data about Earth and watched your fight, I was afraid of you," Dr. Mirax said honestly. "I saw humans as dangerous because you are so much stronger than my people. I let fear cloud my judgment." "I understand," Kayla said. "Many species feel that way now." "But I was wrong," Dr. Mirax continued. "Over these past weeks, I watched you. I saw how you helped the injured Krallians after the arena fight. I saw how you were patient with the young students who asked you questions. I saw how you work extra shifts to help repair the station, even though you do not have to. You are strong, yes. But you are also kind. That is what matters." "Thank you," Kayla said quietly. "That means a lot to me. Will you accept the liaison position?" Dr. Mirax asked. "I do not know. Part of me just wants to go back to being a normal engineer. I did not ask for any of this. No one asks for history to choose them," Dr. Mirax said. "But sometimes it does anyway. You opened a door, Kayla, between your people and mine. between humans and Kralians. What we do with that opportunity is the real challenge now. That evening, Kayla met with Ambassador Kralonik in a private conference room. The massive Kralian warrior sat across from her. He looked less intimidating than during their first meeting. His expression was calm and thoughtful. "Thank you for meeting with me," Kralonik said. "I understand Commander Thelorez has explained the liaison position," yes, Kayla said. "I am still considering it. Let me be honest with you," Kralonik said. "My people have built our culture on being the greatest warriors in the galaxy. For thousands of years, that was true. Then you defeated 4 of us in seconds. Then you defeated 3 more in the arena. This has caused a crisis of understanding among my people." He leaned forward. "But it has also given us an opportunity. We realized we stopped growing. We stopped improving. We believed we were already perfect. You showed us we were wrong. That is a gift, even if it was painful to receive." "I never meant to challenge Kralian culture," Kayla said. "I know, but you did, and that is good. Cultures that do not change eventually die. You have given us a chance to evolve, to become better." He pulled out a datapad. "The first group of Kralian warriors who will train on Earth have volunteered. They are excited and nervous. They will need someone who understands both cultures to guide them." Kayla thought about what Dr. Mirax had said, about doors opening, about opportunities. "I will do it," she said. "But I have conditions. Name them." "I am still an engineer. I want to keep working on technical projects part-time. I do not want to be only a diplomat." Agreed. "And I want to input on the training program. Some human martial arts are very aggressive. Others focus on sport. We need to find the right balance for cultural exchange." "That is exactly why we need you," Kralonik said. He stood and offered his large hand. "Welcome to the Alliance, Kayla Morrison." He shook hands. His grip was careful, aware of his strength. 2 days later, Kayla stood in the departure bay, watching the first transport prepare to leave. It would carry her and a small human team to the Kralian homeworld. From there, they would prepare for the arrival of the first exchange group. Marcus, Sarah, and Dr. Patel came to see her off. They had all volunteered to be part of the program. "We are really doing this," Marcus said. "Going to another species' homeworld to teach them how to fight. The galaxy is strange," Sarah laughed. Kella's communication pad buzzed. A message from Earth. She opened it. It was from her old jiu-jitsu instructor again. Heard about the liaison position. "Proud of you, kid. Remember what I always taught you? The purpose of martial arts is not to create fighters. It is to create better human beings. Now you get to share that with the galaxy. Do not forget who you are. Stay humble. Stay kind. Stay ready, Sensei." Kayla smiled and put away the pad. She picked up her bag and walked toward the transport. Behind her, in a secure room deep in hegemony space, Ambassador Tilrix met with the High Council. The room was dark and cold. 12 leaders of the most powerful species in the galaxy sat in judgment. "The human problem continues to grow," Tilrix reported. "The Kralian Alliance is now official. Other species are beginning to question our authority. The Mordian Collective has requested human engineers for their projects. The Zelthian Republic wants to establish direct trade with Earth. What do you recommend?" the High Counselor asked. "Isolation has failed. Threats have failed. We must try a different approach." Tilrix pulled up a star map. "We make humanity dependent on us. We offer them resources they need, technology they want. We make them need the hegemony. Then we control them through necessity rather than force." "And if that fails?" another counselor asked. Tilrix was quiet for a moment. "Then we must consider more direct action. Before the humans and Kralians become too powerful together." "You speak of war. I speak of survival," Tilrix said. "The galaxy has been peaceful under our guidance for millennia. We cannot allow Deathworlders to disrupt that peace." An elderly counselor, older than most of the others, spoke for the first time. Her voice was weak but clear. "I remember my grandmother's stories. She lived during the last time the hegemony faced a real challenge. We crushed them. We removed their ability to resist. We told ourselves it was necessary. It haunted her for the rest of her life. She looked at Tilrix. Be very careful, Ambassador. When you fight someone who evolved in hell and calls it home, you may discover what true violence looks like. The humans have shown remarkable restraint so far. Do not give them reason to stop showing restraint. The meeting ended with no clear decision. The High Council would watch and wait on the transport leaving Celestial Station. Kayla looked out the window at the stars. Dr. Mirax sat beside her reviewing educational materials. Nervous? Dr. Mirax asked. Terrified, Kayla admitted, but also excited. We are really going to do this. Build something new. Create understanding between species. The future is uncertain, Dr. Mirax said, but that has always been true. At least now we face it together. The transport jumped to faster than light speed. Earth disappeared behind them. The Krallian homeworld waited ahead. The galaxy had changed. One fight at a time. One connection at a time. One person choosing courage over comfort. Kayla. Morrison had picked up a wrench to fix a cooling system and ended up helping fix something much bigger. The relationship between species, the assumptions about strength and weakness, the very structure of galactic society. She did not know if she would succeed, but she knew she had to try, because sometimes history chooses you, and when it does, you can either hide or you can step forward. Kayla had stepped forward. The rest would come with time. The end.